the question of the New South Wales State Government implementing what's described as a standard instrument local environmental plan. Are you aware of these standard instrument local environmental plans in New South Wales?
Yes, we're aware of them.
The Blue Mountains Conservation Society have written to me and spoke to me about this issue, and they're an active, with a big active organisation with a big membership in the Blue Mountains. They are concerned that this standard instrument local environmental plan could potentially risk the continuing World Heritage listing of the World Heritage area because of development outside and abutting the Blue Mountains World Heritage area. Are you aware of those concerns?
I have heard of those concerns, yes, Senator.
Are you aware of what the standard instrument LEP is intended to do from the New South Wales Government?
Oh, at the broadest level, I am, Senator, in terms of it's intending to apply a standard approach to development across New South Wales, and thereby one assumes remove regulatory burden. Yeah,
because the Blue Mountains Conservation Society claim that it means the application of inappropriate zones, decreased information and mapping, significantly decreased assessment of the environmental impact of development, less stringent and certain language in terms of what needs to be considered and addressed when undertaking development, and an exclusion of comprehensive environmental and landscape overlays. That's what they've put to me. How would the department deal with that concern?
Senator, it's not generally it's not our approach to assess planning schemes as such. We're interested in developments that have or may have a significant impact on matters of national environmental significance. So we don't assess statutory plans made by state governments specifically, except in circumstances where the state governments or others have called for something like a strategic assessment to be done of such a plan, or for a conservation agreement to be developed that applies to a particular area. So there are a couple of examples in Sydney where those instruments have been used. There has been a strategic assessment of Western Sydney to protect the Cumberland Plains grassy woodlands in partnership with the New South Wales Government, and there is work being undertaken on a conservation agreement to protect the heritage values of Parramatta as they relate to the viewscapes from Old Parliament House.
Because what the Blue Mountains Conservation Society are saying, that they believe that it will have a significant impact, and that comes under Part 2 of the EPBC Act, that you should act under that. Do you need someone to bring this to your attention to assess it, or what happens?
We would undertake an assessment of a planning scheme, generally at the request of the planning authority, if they were seeking to ensure that they optimised and maximised the environmental outcomes. We would also have consideration of the planning measures as part of looking at the management plan for the World Heritage property, although there are limitations to the extent to which that can be considering activities outside of the property.
But see, if the New South Wales Government implement the standard instrument LEP, and then development starts taking place consistent with that standard instrument LEP, and it's got significant impact on the World Heritage area, wouldn't it be better for us to actually have a look at this standard implement LEP now and make an assessment as to whether it's appropriate for development abutting a World Heritage area?
That might be a very strategic way to go about things, Senator.
Well, how can we then deliver that assessment, other than if the New South Wales State Government say that this is our business, we don't want you to be involved in it? How can we then do something about it?
Well, Senator, I'm not sure that the provision of policy advice is part of the role of officials attending this committee, but there are a number of measures that could be used.
I'm asking how the Act works.
So I was just going to go there. There are a number of measures that could be used, including undertaking a strategic assessment of the local environment plan in that area.
And what are the other things we can
Well,
do?
we'd need to take a look at the extent to which the management plan for the World Heritage property is able to consider matters outside of the area of the World Heritage property and the way in which they're undertaken. The other options that are available are that should there be an action that's likely to have a significant impact, the onus is on the proponent to refer that. If they don't refer that, then there are provisions under the EPBC Act, penalty provisions of various kinds.
Okay, one of the issues that's been raised by the Blue Mountains Conservation Society is that they make an application to UNESCO. That seems to me to be a last resort type option. They would seek a World Heritage in Danger listing. I really don't think we should be going down that path. So the other issues you've raised, that would be before you would do something like this, wouldn't it?
Well, I would certainly hope so, but people have liberty to make their own choices about these things.
But I'm just trying to get a practical way forward to help the concerns that the Conservation Society have and the public have in the Blue Mountains area without them having to make, applications to UNESCO. So I may have some discussions with you outside estimates, because I'd like to try and help get this resolved. So that's good.